Listen, you already know what time it is, man. It's that boy DELI back out here in another video. Day. Listen, bro, we are doing my top 10 2024 mainstream albums of the year video. This is the long-awaited video. Y'all are about to see what albums I have in my top 10. Also, we have honorable mentions within this video, just like how we did last year in the 2023 wrap-up videos. Make sure y'all go check out the playlist. I'll leave it down below in the description. But this video is going to be the same format as last year. I usually do these videos at the end of the year. I want to make this a yearly thing where I end up doing my underground and mainstream albums of the year video with having other videos spread throughout the wrap-up that I end up doing at the end of every year. But we about to hop straight into it, man. If you do shit, I'm just like, comment, subscribe, if you feel me. Let's get into it, bro. All right, we're gonna start off with honorable mentions. Not a lot of people probably do honorable mentions first, but we just gonna get this shit out the way and make it quick so we can get into the top 10. First honorable mention, I gotta go Beyonce Cowboy Carter. Listen, that album right there was good as hell. After I made the reaction, I listened to it that next day, but other than that, I haven't really listened to the project. I done heard it a lot. Every time I go to the mall, I'm hearing some type of Beyonce song off of that album right there. It was a fire-ass album, had transitions all throughout the shit, and pretty enjoyable. Make sure y'all go check out the reaction to Cowboy Carter. Now, at number 2, I have Billie Eilish, Hit Me Hard and Soft. This project right here was beautiful as hell. It was just so much music that dropped this year. It's hard for me to just add everything into the list. You see what I'm saying? And I wanted to go off my personal favorites, albums that I have been listening to throughout this whole year. So this video is not about no politics. This video is not about popular vote on what album is the best. This is about the albums that I have listened to the most and that I really enjoyed. Billie Eilish album, Beautiful as Hell, is one of those albums that I have added to my vibe playlist. It's just one of those projects that you could just play and chill to, bro. Like, you could study to that project, you could just relax to that project. It's just a fire-ass project. You can see the development of Billie Eilish music and how much different this is compared to her previous catalog. But fire-ass album. Make sure I go check out that reaction as well. And my last honorable mention for this year is Lotto. Sugar Honey Iced Tea, bro. This was a fire-ass album from Lotto. This couldn't make it on the list either, bro. My list is stacked. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Honestly, I think she probably had one of the best intros this year. That Georgia Peach shit, that shit was fire as hell when I heard it. It gives a good build up to the album, and the production throughout the project was good as hell. Gave a classic feel, that vintage feel with some older samples being used within the project. And shout out to the producers, shout out to Coop. He definitely did his thing on Big Mama, producing the second half of the Big Mama beat. But that whole beat switch within that song was fire as hell. If I had to choose a favorite off of that, I would say either Big Mama or Georgia Peach. Georgia Peach is fire as hell. My girl been playing it a lot. That shit just hard as fuck. I'm gonna keep it a buck. But hey, man, honorable mentions out the way. Let's get into my top 10. At number 10, we have JT City Cinderella. Now, this year specifically, I've been a huge fan of artists that's using classic sounds, and JT went crazy on this project with her being inspired by Jeezy and the Sound of the South. She really surprised me with this shit, bro, for real. Now, I never listened to the City Girls music at all. We all heard it on the radio. We all hear people playing it, especially during the summertime and shit. But I never really listened to the City Girls music, so I never really knew what type of music JT make. But to hear JT by herself, bro, it just shows me that she know how to write. She's one of the best in the game, to be honest. I'm just keeping it a buck, bro. That's my opinion, though. Now, the album had a good intro, but I will say the outro gave me like Rick Ross vibes from it, bro. For this to be her debut album, this is an excellent start for JT's solo career. Now, at number 9, we have Gunna, One of One. I saw Gunna post something on his story saying that this year has been his biggest year, with him accumulating 4 billion streams, which is crazy as fuck. One of One dropped this year, and in my opinion, is better than A Gift and a Curse, which dropped in 2023. I felt A Gift and a Curse was like a warm-up album, or just something for Gunna to release to get back in the rhythm of making music again, because as we know, Gunna was locked up during the YSL case case before it started, I think. But 101 sounded like the Gunna that we usually get. Like the nigga just be wavy as hell with smooth flows, no matter if it's a feature or if he's on his own song. The album had a nice sound to it, with us getting more lit songs in the beginning and giving us more chill shit towards the end. Since its release, I've been listening to the album a lot, and you really can't go wrong with Gunna, bruh. I saw a few people surprised I didn't have him on my favorite artists of the year list. It's just been a lot of music that's dropped this year, and it's like it was hard to really make a top 10, because last year, I'm gonna be honest, it was easy as hell to do it compared to this year, because this year has been a way better year in terms of music than 2023, even though 2023 was a good year. At number 8, I have, surprisingly to a few of y'all, Yeet 2093. Bro, to be honest, I almost forgot that this album dropped this year. From people initial thoughts of this album, they didn't really fuck with it, but I think it's one of those projects where if you don't understand the theme, you won't understand the project. Obviously, with it being called 2093, you should expect some futuristic shit. I think I feel different about the project if it didn't sound exactly how he presented it, but this was definitely one of those experimental projects, and it's been a few artists that has released experimental projects from 2023 to 2024, but 2093 by Yeet is one of my personal favorites. Every song where they were made sense within the track list, but like I said before, if you want your favorite artist to reach new heights, you should want them to evolve their sound instead of being stuck in the same box. At number 7, I know we got a lot of hip-hop shit on this album so far, but let's switch it up a little bit. At number 7, we got Willow and Pathogen. Now really, this was a project that I didn't expect to enjoy a lot this year. It's like I've always listened to Willow singles, but I haven't listened to a project by Willow since the Willow project in 2019. But what made me enjoy this album a lot is how unorthodox her sound is, and I love with her music that real instruments are used. People are just not punching shit into a computer and calling it a beat. During that whole project, you could hear the instruments that are being played within her songs and shit. Now like I said, with her flows and sound being so unorthodox, it was kind of like hard for me during the reaction to like catch the beat of a few of them, because it would literally like bounce back and forth and then settle down in the middle of it, and it was just crazy to hear. But with that, it's like you will understand the type of artist that Willow is listening to her type of music, bruh. Nobody else in the industry is making music like this, but personally I enjoyed this project, bruh. Now at number 6, we have Chief Keef Almighty Soul 2. This was a long awaited album that got delayed almost like 10 times, I think. If we want to be honest, when it comes to this generation, Chief Keef is one of the founding fathers within the industry, bruh. He has influenced a lot of sounds that we hear today from younger artists. This album had to make my list. I was not gonna add this as an honorable mention because every song was lit as fuck. The song Almighty, which was the intro for this project, had one of the best build-ups I heard this year. Knowing that this man Chief Keef be producing his own beats and shit, it's just the way that the build-up was. He had somebody doing a narration, and he used the, I forgot what sample it is, a church chorus in the background. Y'all know the sample that it was used during that song. I've heard it before, but that shit just made that shit fire as hell. Even though he made us wait for this project a very long time. I remember when Apple Music kept changing the date after every time a certain date came. It was supposed to drop last year on Christmas, then the date got changed to like January, then February or some shit like that. But I'm glad he dropped it when he did instead of making us wait longer for it. This is just one of those albums you can just add every song to the playlist, honestly. At number 5, I have Future and Metro Boomin, We Don't Trust You and We Still Don't Trust You. This is the first time I'm doing 2 albums at one spot, simply because, bro, these albums are a month apart, and it would make no sense for me to have one album on here without adding the other, because I really enjoyed both. Now, the way somebody put it in the comments on the We Still Don't Trust You reaction, We Don't Trust You was more of a modern trap album from Future and Metro. Now, I think what makes these projects so good is the chemistry that Future and Metro have, because they've been making music together since I think like 2013 or some shit, and Metro just seems to get better every project that he produces. The features that they had on the project did they thing, and if y'all want to be honest, this album right here is pretty much what sparked off the back and forth between Kendrick and Drake with the song Like That. Now, compared to We Don't Trust You, We Still Don't Trust You was a way different experience from the first album, with this one being more on the R&B side. Now, what gave this album the edge over We Don't Trust You is the fact that it had a disc 2. And with that disc, it brought me back to the Future free band days. Like that ass, bruh. Disc 2 made me feel like I was back in middle school listening in the Future, bruh. It was nice to hear that throwback sound from Future, but I had to put both of these albums together as number 5. At number 4, we have Destroy Lonely, Love Lasts Forever. I know for a few people, y'all might be like, who the hell is Destroy Lonely? Where is this man coming from? I never heard or seen this man before. He was originally on my underground list until I looked at his sales this year. Compared to a lot of mainstream artists, he sold better than a few. I'm not gonna name who all he sold better than, but he sold better than a few, selling almost 40K units. But definitely, if I had him on the underground list, just know he would have been number 1. And it would have been wrong for me to just put him at number 1 on the mainstream list, because let's just keep it honest. You compare Destroy Lonely album to a lot of other albums that I have above this shit, their albums are way better than this. This album isn't one of my personal favorites from Destroy Lonely, but I can say Lone gave this album a nice feel with the intro sampling All Saints song Love Lasts Forever. Now, I played this album on repeat a lot this year, and with a few songs, I can say the beats aren't stuff that you would expect to hear nowadays. With songs like Syrup Sippin' and Doubt It, those two songs gave the Southside ATL feel. Plus, with me going to Destroy Lonely show this year and hearing the album live, that just added to the listening experience for me. Now, before we get into my top 3, we gonna have a separate segment. This album right here is the most meaningful album to me. We have Kanye West Vultures 1. As we know, I live streamed that reaction back when it came out in February. I remember it. And that was the album I hit 10,000 subscribers to, like dead ass, y'all. Like before I sparked up the stream, I was telling myself, I'm like, this is gonna be the album reaction that gets me to 10,000 subscribers. And we ended up reaching 10,000 subscribers during that live stream reaction. We was one of the only people on YouTube, because the album came out at like 4 in the morning. We was one of the only people on YouTube to be live streaming a reaction to Kanye Vultures 1. And honestly, I put Vultures 1 over Vultures 2, had a way better sound, and it was just a way better listening experience for me, because personally, I hit 10,000 subscribers, and I broke down during the reaction of the album and shit. But this album is meaningful to me, and it had to make the list, bruh. Now at number 3, I have Rema, He Is. Now, if you don't listen to Afrobeat music, then you wouldn't understand why the hell I have this at number 3. Now this year, I've been listening to a lot more Afrobeat music, and I've been listening to Rema for a year now, and this album was way different from his original catalog, with this project being more of a darker approach to the Afrobeat sound. Majority of the songs still had that fast tempo format that you're used to seeing in Afrobeat songs, but while listening to a few songs on this project, you can see the influence of the States with the ad-libs and Rema using a deeper voice, like something we've seen with Playboi Carti this year. That's just one thing I could compare it to. Now, this is an album that I played a lot in the car, but I'm interested to see if Rema stays with this dark theme or if he go back to his original sound. At number 2, I have Tyler, the Creator, Chromacopia. Now, I know for a lot of people, this is their number 1 album of the year, but I haven't listened to this album as much as I listened to my number 1. But this should at least be a top 3 album for a lot of people. So far, with every album I have heard from Tyler, the Creator, he never disappoints. But from an industry standpoint, I can see this album being nominated for Album of the Year. One thing I enjoyed seeing is the development of this album and how exactly it came about. Because after he released the album, he dropped a short video on YouTube going through the recording process of a few songs that was on the album. So with seeing that video, it made me enjoy it more when I went back and listened to it. With the project, it's kind of hard to point out inspiration, but he managed to show us more LA inspired cadences that he had within either 1 or 2 songs. I enjoyed the surprise features during my reaction while listening to the album. That's always a fun experience, coming into an album not knowing if somebody is on the next song or not. Every song gave off a different vibe, but matched the setting of the project. Tyler brings a different dynamic to the industry. Some people may not like it, but me, I personally enjoy how different his sound is. Now at number 1, I have Don Toliver, Hard Stone Psycho. This album album by Don Toliver caught me by surprise, cause after hearing a few singles that he released leading up to the project, I figured it was gonna be a different experience. But I feel Don Toliver outdid himself with this one. One thing I feel he excelled in with this project is the element of surprise. Within the intro song Kryptonite, it had a beat switch that came out of nowhere, and Don Toliver was pulling out flows I never heard from him before all throughout the project. I feel his albums in the past always gave off a R&B feel, cause he was primarily doing more melodic sounds. But within Hearthstone Psycho, Don Toliver was rapping a lot more, which really showcased more variety and complexity with his bag. I also enjoyed how he split the album into 4 discs. There was a song or two I feel could have been moved around within the track list, but he still managed to give a different vibe throughout each disc, with more melodic sounds starting in disc 3. I pretty much just enjoyed the experience with my initial thoughts and reaction to it compared to any other album, and when I wasn't recording, this was an album that I listened to a lot this year. But other than that, man, that was my top 10 mainstream albums of the year video. Y'all can let me know what y'all thought about my list, and y'all can put y'all list down below in the comments. Please do not be in the comments talking about some how you didn't have this, how you didn't have that. Y'all should understand, because it was a lot of music that dropped this year from start to finish. It's a whole lot of albums that I probably even forgot that dropped this year that I didn't even have on my original list before I ranked anything to begin with. But y'all can let me know y'all favorite albums. Y'all can let me know y'all favorite songs down below in the comments. Make sure y'all go check out all the other videos in the 2024 wrap up playlist. But like I said, and I'm gonna say it once again, y'all should not have a problem with my list, because when y'all tell me y'all favorite shit, I do not have a problem with it. This is my favorite mainstream albums of 2024, not your favorite mainstream albums of 2024. Just let me know y'all favorites down below in the comments. But other than that, hopefully y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and even more videos coming, some more content episode. You already know what time it is, man. Make sure follow the Kick, follow Twitch, also join the Discord down below in the description. But hey, man, it's been your boy, that boy DELI. Oh, gone, man.